So, what is OCD? Obsessive compulsive disorder is when your brain gets stuck in a loop of unwanted thoughts, called obsessions, and repetitive behaviors, called compulsions. Imagine this. You lock your front door, walk away, and your brain goes, "Wait, did you really lock it?" You check. Then 2 minutes later, are you sure you locked it? You check again. Basically, your brain becomes that one friend who never stops asking follow-up questions. Symptoms usually include things like excessive hand-washing, checking things repeatedly, needing things to be perfectly ordered. And no, having a clean desk doesn't automatically mean you have OCD. It just means you like not living in chaos. OCD affects around 2% of the population worldwide, and it can be seriously disabling. But here's the good news. Therapy, especially CBT and exposure therapy, can really help, and medications can reduce symptoms. So while the memes about people being so OCD can be funny, the reality is much heavier, but recovery is very possible. Next up, number 9. PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. This happens after someone goes through a traumatic event. Think war, abuse, accidents, natural disasters. Instead of the memory fading, your brain hits the replay button at full volume. Symptoms include flashbacks, nightmares, feeling on edge, avoiding reminders of the trauma. In other words, your brain is like, "Hey, remember that terrible thing that happened? Yeah? Let's watch it again, in HD, right now." About 3 to 4% of adults deal with PTSD in a given year. Treatments like CBT, EMDR, and strong social support are super effective. One of the most powerful things for recovery is knowing you're not alone. So if your brain keeps playing a horror movie without your permission, don't blame yourself. There's help. At number 8, we've got eating disorders. These include anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorder. At their core, these disorders are about much more than food. They're about body image, control, and deep emotional struggles. Anorexia. That's when someone restricts food intake to dangerous levels. Bulimia. Binge eating followed by purging. Binge eating disorder? Consuming huge amounts of food without purging. And here's a harsh fact. Eating disorders have one of the highest mortality rates of any mental illness. That's why early support and treatment are so important. But here's the hopeful part. People do recover, often with therapy, nutrition counseling, and lots of support. And as much as we joke about fighting with pizza, remember, food is not the enemy. The illness is. Coming in at number 7, we have borderline personality disorder, also known as BPD. This one is all about emotions turned up to 11. People with BPD often deal with intense, unstable relationships, fear of abandonment, big mood swings, a shaky sense of self. Basically, your emotional volume knob is broken and permanently set to max. Now here's where I want to be real. BPD gets a lot of stigma, even in mental health circles. People throw around stereotypes like toxic or manipulative. But that's unfair and oversimplified. The reality is, BPD is rooted in trauma, emotional sensitivity, and difficulty regulating emotions. It's not a personality flaw. It's a mental health condition. The good news? Therapy, especially dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT, has proven to be super effective. So with the right tools and support, life can get much more stable. Next up, number 6, schizophrenia. This is one of the most misunderstood mental illnesses. Movies and TV love to dramatize it. But the real thing is very different. Symptoms include hallucinations, like hearing voices, delusions, false beliefs, disorganized speech or thinking. Imagine having 10 YouTube tabs open at once, and they're all playing different videos really loudly. That's kind of what schizophrenia can feel like. It affects about 1% of the population, usually starting in late teens or early adulthood. And contrary to the stereotype, most people with schizophrenia are not violent. They're far more likely to be victims than aggressors. Treatment usually involves antipsychotic medication, therapy, and strong community support. With the right care, many people with schizophrenia live fulfilling lives. At number 5, bipolar disorder. This one is famous for the extreme mood swings. You've got two poles, hence the name: mania, high energy, racing thoughts, risky decisions, little need for sleep, depression, sadness, fatigue, hopelessness, withdrawal. It's kind of like your brain is playing emotional ping pong between "I can build an empire" and "I can't even build a sandwich." Famous creatives like Vincent van Gogh and Carrie Fisher lived with bipolar disorder. And that shows us something important. People with this condition can be incredibly talented, creative, and impactful. With the right treatment, usually a combo of medication, therapy, and lifestyle routines, people can absolutely thrive. Number 4 is generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD. Picture this. You're worried about an exam, while also worrying about money, while also worrying about climate change, while also worrying about whether you said "you too" to the waiter after they told you to enjoy your food. That's GAD, worry stacked on worry stacked on worry. It's like your brain has subscribed to Worry Plus, the premium version with unlimited thoughts. Symptoms include constant nervousness, trouble concentrating, trouble sleeping, and that feeling like something bad is always about to happen. The good news? Anxiety is super treatable, with therapy, mindfulness, and sometimes medication. Millions of people learn how to manage it and live fully. Number 3, panic disorder. This one brings sudden, intense panic attacks out of nowhere. We're talking racing heart, shortness of breath, dizziness, feeling like you're dying. Basically, your body acts like you're being chased by a tiger, when in reality, you're just standing in line at Starbucks. The scary part? People often think they're having a heart attack, but once diagnosed, panic disorder is very treatable with therapy, breathing techniques, and sometimes meds. So if you've ever had a panic attack, you're not alone. It's more common than you'd think. Coming in at number 2 is major depressive disorder, aka depression. This is one of the most common mental illnesses worldwide and one of the most debilitating. Symptoms include persistent sadness, loss of interest in things you once enjoyed, fatigue, changes in sleep or appetite. It's like your brain has switched to dark mode and forgot where the light switch is. Here's the important thing. Depression is not just feeling sad. It's a serious medical condition with biological, psychological, and social roots. But it is treatable. Therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, and support networks can make a huge difference. And millions of people recover. And finally, number 1, the heavyweight champion of mental health struggles, social anxiety disorder. This is more than just being shy. It's an intense fear of social situations where people worry about being judged, embarrassed, or rejected. Every party invite feels like you've been chosen for the Hunger Games. And giving a presentation, that's basically standing trial in front of 30 jurors with laser eyes. Social anxiety is one of the most common mental health issues today, especially in the age of social media, where comparison is everywhere. But again, very treatable. Exposure therapy, CBT, and even small daily steps can reduce the fear. Okay, so we just counted down the top 10 mental illnesses. Let's wrap this up with some key takeaways. Mental illnesses are super common. About 1 in 5 people experience them every year. The top 3 worldwide are depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Stigma is still the biggest enemy, but the more we talk about this stuff, the more we normalize getting help. And remember, your brain is part of your body. Just like you take care of your muscles, you've got to take care of your mental health. All right, that's the top 10 mental illnesses explained, with a little science, a little humor, and hopefully some big insights. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more fun yet educational explainers. And remember, if you or someone you know is struggling, don't go through it alone. Professional help works, and things can get better. Stay healthy, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.